So in this video, we're going to be talking about how Trump has, even during this pandemic, is trying to repeal Obamacare, taking away healthcare from potentially millions of people during a pandemic. And the kind of backward, we're going to be talking about the kind of backward thinking of not just Trump, but I guess Republicans in general who are trying to do this. And so if we go back to the past in 2017, when Trump was talking about repealing and replacing Obamacare. So it goes, following the collapse of the Republican-backed American Health Care Act this afternoon, President Trump has appeared to backtrack on his long-held stance that President Obama's signature legislature, the Affordable Care Act, should be repealed immediately. I never said, I guess I'm here, 64 days? I never said repeal and replace Obamacare. You've heard all my speeches. I never said repeal and replace within 64 days, said Trump in the Oval Office. But this statement stood in stark opposition to the repeated pledge that a repeal would occur at the start of his presidency. So let's see if we can find it. At a speech in St. Augustine on Florida, he vowed to repeal the current healthcare law as part of his contract with the American voters. It's a set of promises for what I'll do within my first 100 days. It includes getting rid of immediately Obamacare, which is a disaster. And we know this is something he did, but it was John McCain who stopped the repeal going through. And so we can see that Trump, he lied about repealing and replacing Obamacare, and he doesn't have many healthcare proposals, to be honest. He doesn't. And so here we go to the main event of the evening, and COVID-19 survivors could lose healthcare if Obama wins bid to repeal Obamacare. So millions of Americans who survived COVID-19 or face future infections could lose their healthcare or be barred from getting coverage should the Trump administration successfully repeal Obamacare. So the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court late Thursday, this article's from the 27th of June, to overturn the Affordable Care Act, a move that, if successful, would bring a permanent end to health insurance reform law popularly known as Obamacare. And so we'll go under the ACA. Insurance companies cannot deny coverage for pre-existing conditions. Its abolition would mean that millions of Americans who have had healthcare, who have had cancer, multiple sclerosis or other diseases will struggle to get insurance. So what that means is if you catch COVID-19 and you don't have health insurance, it's going to be very expensive for you to actually get treatment. And I think if you have a pre-existing condition, say catch coronavirus, and then you get healthcare, which seems like a really semi-dodgy thing to do, I guess, you would be denied as well. And so Trump repealing Obamacare would essentially strip people of their healthcare during a pandemic. And what that means is this pandemic will go on longer. That's what these guys don't understand. Like the coronavirus is like dealing with, a pulled muscle. Like, yes, it's bad. Yes, it's painful. You have to rest and let it recover. If you keep trying to run on your leg or run, say if it's a pulled hamstring, if you keep trying to run on it, you will pull it worse. It will get more painful, and you're probably at a high risk of tearing it. With this thing, you have to let people stay home. You have to give them an incentive to stay home, which is in the UK the furlough scheme. In America, they need to do better stimulus. I know Trump wants to do a second round of stimulus checks, but he's being told no by deficit hawks. And so if you push people back into work too early, what's going to happen? You're going to get spread much quicker. You're going to get a huge, a bigger, an almost second first wave, if that makes sense, where because the first wave hasn't actually ended, you can't officially call it a second wave, but basically is a second wave. It's a second wave, to put it stupidly. And so what Trump doesn't understand is the way to deal with this thing is how other countries have dealt with it, which is you isolate people and you help them financially, and that will give them incentive to stay home. If they don't stay home, then you have to figure out what to do from there, whether you get the police to make sure they stay at home, and you go a bit more authoritarian because you have to, because the only way to deal with this pandemic is by doing that. Because the US has the highest death rate, I believe, in the world, and they're nowhere near herd immunity. So if they do push for herd immunity, you're going to get a lot more people dying, potentially in the millions of people dying, because Trump is so dumb and does not understand what he's doing. And repealing Obamacare during a pandemic, leading into a November election, shows how stupid this man is. Especially because there are red states who require things like Obamacare. And so this shows you how crazy this man is, that he would essentially take people's healthcare away from them during a pandemic. Can you believe that? And so I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.